Hi, welcome to everybody. I'm Charme from the German Chamber of Commerce. Good to have you all with us today, virtually at least. The two first rules for us for this next hours are: one, please turn off your cameras if you're not a speaker, and please be so kind and mute yourself. But we want to hear you in the form of questions, so please at any given moment feel free to write your questions in the chat, and I promise that each of your questions will be asked at some point, either during our conversation or at the end of the Q&A session. So we are happy and we are proud of our participants today because they spontaneously have all agreed to be here to tell us, the Israeli community of technologies, who they are, what they are looking for, and I think it's a really amazing combination of people. But before we start with them, I would like to ask the CEO of my chamber, Grisha Alroi, to give us a welcome note. Grisha, please.
Yeah. Am I online?
Yes, you are.
That's wonderful. Okay, great. So welcome to all of you. It's a great pleasure to open this webinar or this digital or virtual meeting, however we want to call it. We took as an opportunity a very intriguing virtual trade fair of Israeli agricultural technology innovations. We have, in the meantime, over 300 participants in this event, and I want to congratulate the initiators of those, and a good friend of mine, Eran Harish, who has been very active in this. I want just briefly to tell you that we at the German-Israeli Chamber of Industry and Commerce, as part of the roof organization of German chambers, are in Israel already active for 53 years. In those 53 years, we have witnessed a very steep increase of cooperation between Israeli and German companies in so many fields. And actually one of those fields were, from the beginning, agriculture technologies coming from Germany to Israel, and in the last couple of decades, also the other direction. Well, the reason for that is that Israel, most of you, of course, know, is a very small country. It's a very hot country. It's a country of water scarcity. It's a country of a very high population growth. It's very hot, and basically, it had no agricultural history. So everything that we are witnessing nowadays in 2020 has actually developed in this country because of the situation we are living in the last 100 years, 110 years, maybe 130 years. That's it all. So because there is not enough water, because it's very hot, because the soil is not very good, and because the population grew all the time and all those mouths had to be fed, there was from the outset a need for new technologies. In the field of irrigation, in the field of desalination, in the field of recycling of water and crop development, later on in sensoring, in artificial intelligence, in biotech, in agrotech. And the reason why nowadays many representatives of developing countries, even countries that do not have diplomatic relations with Israel so far, are coming to Israel in order to get a hand and glimpse of those technologies, is a reason why this whole exhibition was thought about and was initiated. So it is really great for us to have the Israelis on one side and these great German companies that have experiences with Israeli technologies, that have experience with Israeli clients and with Israeli suppliers, to have a better understanding of their view of what agriculture technologies nowadays, especially in the times of climate change, mean. So without further ado, I don't want to go into length. I'm very, very happy that we can host you here, and I'm very curious to listen to our German speakers. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Grisha. and hi to everybody in the office. Now we have an echo, which I hope will go away soon. And let's start with the program. And our first guest is lovely Holger, who's here on behalf of Bayer Crop Science. And Holger will now give us a very nice overview, which I believe you all will enjoy. Holger, please.
Yeah, good evening and shalom everybody from Germany, calling from Monheim, our headquarters from the Crop Science Division, and I will give you a brief introduction of what Bayer is and what our Crop Science Division is and what we are doing in Israel, what our relations to Israel are. So I will start a quick presentation. Let me just start it.
Not yet.
Yep, it's uploading. Takes a while. Yeah. Here we are. So my name Holger Elfes. I'm spokesperson for Bayer Crop Science, based in Monheim, as I said, which is between Düsseldorf and Cologne. That's where we have our global headquarters. So what is Bayer doing? So we have 3 divisions or business units. One is crop science. The other ones are known as well, which is pharmaceuticals and consumer health. Pharmaceuticals are prescription products for different diseases, and consumer health are products you can buy usually in a pharmacy, in some countries in a supermarket. And these 3 divisions we had a bit more of divisions before, but now we are at 3 divisions. So let me see, how does it work? So next slide. A few key data. These are data or key figures from last year, 2019. Total sales were at 43.5 billion. What you can see on the right side is the investment part of it. So we had 5.3 billion euros of investment into research and development, which is a lot. Not every company does that. We do it. We had 103,000 employees, and we are active in 87 countries. So broken down to the regions, wanted to show you that figure for the whole Bayer group. The EMEA region, which includes, for example, Germany and Israel, we have about 47,000 employees, 25,000 of them in Germany, and about 200 in Israel. So a few facts about our company or about the crop science division in Israel. So we started, or the company we acquired later on started in '92. It was a private company developing commercial vegetable hybrids. It was acquired by a Dutch company at that time, '98. De Ruyter Seeds, and remembering what Grisha said earlier, Israel is a difficult country for agriculture. So is Holland. Holland is partly below 0, or a larger part of Holland is below 0, and the weather is not always favorable. They have a big population, and so they always had a hard time to feed their people too. So there's something in common. And they are very innovative too. So they said at that time in '98, it's worth acquiring the Israeli startup or company. That De Ruyter Seeds company was then acquired by Monsanto. They started in 2012 a pepper breeding program. Earlier, they were focusing mostly on tomatoes. And then 2 years ago, Bayer acquired Monsanto. So that's how the story was. We have, as I said, about 200 employees in Israel. More than a third of them work in my division, in crop science. The products developed in Israel reached about 60 countries. Israel, of course, is not the most important one of them, as it is small. So it goes to many other countries. for pepper and especially tomato production, and for both greenhouse and open field applications. So R&D in tomato seeds from Israel is really important in big markets like Mexico, like Italy, like China. And a figure which I recently heard is that the R&D developed in Israel is responsible for almost a quarter of tomato seeds that we sell globally there, and we are the biggest tomato seed seller in the world. A few key data, commercial data I have for you. I will go very quickly through that. So this is how our sales are divided in. Sales-wise, we are the biggest division. On the right side, you see the operating profit. We are not the biggest one. Pharmaceuticals is still a bit more profitable, but still it's a rather big business for us. So how do we earn our money? We have a few different fields which we break down. The biggest, or the two biggest, are the herbicides businesses and the corn, seed and traits businesses, then followed by soybean seeds and traits, fungicides, insecticides, and environmental science, which is almost 1 billion euros. That is a non-agricultural application like gardening, like for example, railway tracks cleaning and this kind of stuff. And then we come to vegetable seeds, which is that part which is really strong for us in Israel. Others, for example, include digital farming and other solutions. Shaping agriculture to benefit farmers, consumers, and our planet. That is our strategy. We see the situation that we have in the world. We have a growing population. We have a population which is getting richer, and we have environmental problems. So what we want to do is innovation, pioneer the digital transformation, and set new standards of sustainability. The business areas are divided in the chemical and biological crop protection. I showed you the figures before. The seeds and traits business, the digital technologies, and the environmental science, which I mentioned before, weed and pest control, and some other things. Now we come to research and development, which is really important for our relationship with Israel. As I said, the world is facing enormous challenges. We read that every day in the newspapers. We see that every day on TV. We have a changing climate. We have limited natural resources. We see rainforests burning every day in different regions of the world. We have a growing population. And what we want to do, what we want to show is that agriculture is a part of the solution, helping farmers not only to grow, but also to do something good for the people and for the environment. So we want to combine modern science with the knowledge of farmers to get innovation to those who need it, to the farmers. I showed you the total figure for research and development before, which is 5.3 billion last year. It's a high figure, as I said, and almost half of it goes to crop science. We have many projects in seeds and traits, in crop protection, digital agriculture, and so on. And there's a huge pipeline of new products coming in the coming 10 years. So I want to show some of the projects we do together with Israel. This summer in July, we started a partnership with Prospera Technologies, a leading artificial intelligence and data analytics company, which is specialized in machine learning. The target is to support greenhouse growers, that you find all over the world, to optimize the operations and become more sustainable, which means using less water, using less pesticides in the greenhouse, which make greenhouse operations more profitable and make it more sustainable at the same time. A first project already started in Mexico, which is a big producer of pepper and a big producer of tomatoes. And yeah, we are looking forward to see the results. Last year, we started a collaboration with Netafim. I mean, the collaboration with Netafim is older than that, but we added the Ben Gurion University, yeah, for a 3-year research collaboration to combine soil research, digital prediction tools, and drip technology, which comes from Netafim, yeah, to develop best practices for using drip irrigation as a delivery system also for a pesticide, for a Bayer pesticide, William Prime. Yeah, as I said, we started that collaboration with Netafim already back in 2017. Then we have that Bayer Trendlines Ag Innovation Fund established in 2016, yeah, which has already developed a couple of interesting projects back in 2018, 2019, 2020 regarding new modes of actions for pesticides, regarding biological solutions for insect control, and so on. So this is a quite interesting project that we do with Trendlines. And to summarize it, I have a nice quote from our head of R&D, Bob Ryder, what he said regarding Trendlines, but you can make that much broader. It's not only about Trendlines, it's about all our collaborations with Israel. Israel is a hotspot of innovation, and with Trendline as our partner, we can identify novel agtech solutions to help shape the future of farming. Yeah, so that is something that is very much valued by Bayer, and we are looking forward to continue our current research collaborations and to identify new ones as well. Thank you.
Holger, thank you so much. There are already questions for you, but I will keep them to the end, or if you don't mind, because now we want to continue and stay according to our plan, as we are all Germans in the end. And I will now ask our next speaker, please, who hopefully is ready. I'm waiting for the camera to be turned on. I'm waiting for Alexander Haus from the VDMA, which is the Association of, how would you say it in English, Mechanical Engineering Industry Association.
Exactly, so, yeah. So thank you very much, Charme. Thank you very much to all of you for inviting me to this event. I'm here on behalf of VDMA. My name is Alexander Haus. I'm in charge of international projects at the branch association, VDMA Agricultural Machinery. Within the VDMA Agricultural Machinery, we have around 170 member companies. Among them, the most of the multinational leading corporations, so-called longliners, because they have almost the full range of machinery. I would say, core competence are the medium-sized and small family-run enterprises, so-called shortliners, because they have just a limited range of machinery. But we also have manufacturers of agricultural niche applications and suppliers. So I will now try to share my presentation with you. I hope it works. So I think this one and full screen. So
we can see it, but yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not a dedicated expert for digital solutions in agricultural machinery. Today I'm here for my colleague, Dr. Hermann Büttkamp. who is our real expert, and he was so friendly to put together a short presentation, which I will try my best to show you. So let's move on. And I think the overall goal of the digital solutions in agriculture is a consistent linking of individual processes steps with the digital information. So you see one example in arable farming. So you see different types of machines. The most important is that all these machines are the part of a process, and it means we need the real communication between these machines to have an overview on the process, and means we will be in control of the process. The next slide shows a similar picture, but coming from the livestock sector. So also here we start with the breeding of the cattle, and we finish with the slaughtering of the cattle. And one thing which is very important during the whole process is the traceability. I think now agriculture and also the food sector is all about to protect the consumer rights, and I think traceability is the key for this issue. And I think as a previous speaker mentioned, I think we have the whole food value chain and agricultural production, arable crops and also livestock farming. We are a part of it, and digital farming solutions should provide technologies and last of all solutions, so that we all have the overview what's happening in the agricultural chemistry, agricultural trading companies, in the production up to the food distribution. So the consumer has the certainty when buying any product in the supermarket that there is real quality inside. So if we try to break it down for agricultural machinery, it's all about connecting different machines or part of machines. So you see the whole range from ultra short range to the ultra long range, which means communication within machine, communication with machines which do more or less the same job, the mid-range communication within the fleet, long range between the machine and the farming enterprise, and also the ultra long. So even if you have a farm in different parts of the world, you can exchange experiences. So I will not go into detail for the next slides. I think you can see the pictures. You can see that there are different solutions. I think our first solution was the Isobus connection, so which enabled different manufacturers to work together. So for example, if the tractor is, we have also person of class with us. So if, for example, the tractor is from class, it can be easily connected with a sprayer, for example, from Lemken, what you see on the picture, or another manufacturer. Also, you see here the forage harvesting. Also here you need the clear communication, for example, that the driving speed of the forage harvester is the same with the trailer. So there shouldn't be any discrepancies. The same system can be applied also for the crop protection sprayers. Is another example for agricultural drones, which now is applied, for example, on the hillside locations. I think this is not very spreaded, for example, for the large scale farming, but it can provide appropriate solutions for hillside locations or smaller farms. One very important part of the digital farming solutions is a communication between different clouds. So for example, here we see two of the market leaders in Germany, Klaas and John Deere. So I think this is crucial that the information we have in the clouds of both companies can be also obtained by the competitor, and in order to provide the best possible solution for the farmer. It should also work between the manufacturer of agricultural machinery and the manufacturers of cars or trucks. So, but we are still at the very beginning of the whole process. So in Germany, we have selected 14 agricultural experimental fields in different parts of Germany. There are some examples here in the text. I think we can make available this presentation for you, so I will not go deeper on the examples. But I have tried to summarize the main points here. So in the rural side, we still have a problem even in Germany with the internet connection. So for some farms in Germany and also in other countries, we are trying to build up a decentral mobile frequencies, which might be a workable solution for consistent linking of the processes I mentioned before. In many cases, 4G will be absolutely enough, but sooner or later, we will require 5G due to latency and reliability requirements. Experimental fields, as I mentioned, this is a part of our process. We are not now at the state where we can provide experiences out of this project. I think if you invite us maybe in 1 or 2 years, I think we will be able to tell you more. For IT companies and startups from Israel, I think you are very much welcome to contact VDMA Agricultural Machinery in case you are interested to provide your services to our member companies. Please address it directly to my colleague, Mr. Büttkamp. If we have maybe another 1 to 3 minutes, I would just give another example. I was moderating another event today morning. It was related to the digital solutions in Russian agriculture. Just to mention, Russia is the most important ag machinery market for German manufacturers outside the European Union. So we pay very much attention to what is happening there. And I think Russia is very strong when it comes to the large-scale farming. And many of the digital solutions, they really focus on the large-scale farming. So that's why we are part of the project together with the Association of Agricultural Dealers or Importers. That's why I add another slide with the contacts. I think in Israel, you have a quite strong Russian-speaking community with people who have also good business relationship with Russia. So that's why I allowed myself to add another slide to this presentation. This is all from my side, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Alexander, thank you also so much to you. And I will remember and I will remind you in a year or two to pick up on your promise. And now we will go to our main panel, and I'm more than delighted now to invite to open up the cameras, starting with Dr. Elisabeth Becker-Löffner, who is here today on behalf of BayWa AG, or BayWa in German. Mr. Holger Elfes, which is the spokesperson on behalf of Bayer Crop Science. And we are also happy to say hi to Martin Hannen, who's here on behalf of the North Rhine-Westphalian Ministry of Environment. And please forgive me, I will not give the full title because it's unpronounceable in English. And also, we are happy to have you with us still, Alexander Haus from the German Association of Industrial Manufacturers. And also, please come back to us from the beginning. Hello? Yes, great. And also Mr. Klaus Rolf, who's here on behalf of class. Are we all together? Yes, I see Holger, Alexander, Martin, great. So let's start with our newcomers to this panel. Please let me start with you, Elisabeth, as ladies come first. And I would like to make an easy entry for you. Just introduce yourself and give all of those who do not know BayWa so well a short overview what BayWa is doing and where your involvement in Israel is.
Thank you very much for having me here today. Yes, my name is Elisabeth Becker. I'm part of the digital farming department and in charge of the integration of new smart farming technologies in our daily business and our agricultural business. So a few words to BayWa. BayWa is a globally active group with the core segments agriculture, energy and building material, as well as the development segment, innovation and digitalization, where I'm part of. And as a global player, we are developing leading projects and solutions for the basic human needs of food, energy and buildings. And BayWa was founded in 1923, and the headquarters is still located in Munich, so we were founded in Munich. And we proudly look back on our cooperative roots and still live the cooperative spirit today. And traditionally, our core market segments are in southern Germany and Austria, but our international expansion has increased significantly in the recent years as part of our growth strategy. So, however, BayWa has since grown to become the largest agriculture trader in Germany and is one of the leading agriculture commodities trading companies in the world.
Lovely, thank you very much. And now we will give also the ministry side a voice. Martin, and if you want, you can of course give the full title.
Hello everybody and thank you. Yeah, the ministry with a long name, let's shorten it to Ministry of Environment and Agriculture in North Rhine-Westphalia. That's one of the German Länder. And I'm head of the unit for plant production, horticulture, livestock farming and agricultural engineering. Since now I came in contact with Israeli firms like Netafim, that's one of the leading companies of drip irrigation, precision irrigation, and I also had contacts to CropX. That's a company with wireless that deals with wireless sensors that measure, for instance, soil moisture.
Thank you. That was very short, but to the point. And now our last speaker, which hasn't spoken so far, please, Klaus, on behalf of class.
Yeah, hello together. My name is Klaus Herbert Rolf and I'm from the Class group. Class is a machine factory and one of the biggest in the world, number 5 in the moment, I think so. And we have decided over the years that we wanted to become a solutions provider for digital solution and machinery in once. And for this task, we built up in 2013 in Berlin a daughter company, 365 called, with a focus on digitalization. And that is the most important. The idea of 365 FarmNet and the class strategy here is to work together with the specialists and with the local heroes. we are not the specialists, for example, come back to the keynote of the speaker in the front, that we are not the specialist for dry area conditions. So we work together in this situation with the professionals and the top heroes in these regions, or with the chemical guys, for example, who have the better ideas about this. We can do machinery, and we have the solution for platforms. And that what the colleague from the VDMA mentioned earlier. Yes, we work together with our comparators. Then the farmer used different brands and different colors, as we called, and so we need to work together. Thank you.
No, thank you. Now that we understand what all of you do and who you are, let's get right into the core of our talk today. And what I would like to know, and you know what, Klaus, I will continue with you. Which challenges does your company actually face today, which are due to a lack of technology, or in other words, what are you looking for on the technology side and haven't found yet?
There are two parts where we look for. First part is to bring as much as possible farmers into this digital world. Then when we wanted to do something, what as mentioned in earlier time here, for example, traceabilities and so on, then we need much or the most farmers inside. That is one part. And the second, what our farmers ask for, is to find solution who makes a documentation and the documentation automatically. That we are looking now for sensoric, for equipment what can bring this data automatically into the farmer's documentation side. And that will be the challenge for the future. And that is, therefore, we ask for the infrastructure.
Great. Are you finished? You're done, or are you frozen?
I think so.
Ah, okay. Thank you very much. And meet my son. Thank you. Same question. I will also pass to you, Holger, from BayWa Crop Science. What is your answer to the question? What are you looking for, actually, which you haven't found in trend lines and others?
Yeah, I mean, our challenges are changing, yeah, every year. So that question being answered now would not be the same answer as next year or as last year. We see new diseases. We see new developments in climate change.
Many people are there, but they are not open the camera. I don't know why you open in that.
Oh, someone else is speaking, or can you hear me?
Please, all of you turn off the micros.
Yeah. So these challenges are changing, and what we have not found. I mean, it takes time to find things. What we develop today, we will see it on the fields in, depends, 2, 5, 10, sometimes 15 years only. So that is the big challenge. But we are working on it. What we see as a headwind is a certain hostility against technology, against modern developments. We don't see that everywhere in the world, but we see it very strongly in our region, Germany, France, some neighboring countries. It is not the same everywhere, but this is something that we see, and we have to react on that. Little example is that we develop now a short corn plant, and we develop it in 3 different ways. We develop it in a classical breeding way. We develop it in a genome editing way. And the fastest way, of course, is in GMO, a gene modified way. So these are the challenges we have, and we find partners. So we are looking for partners to with good ideas to be faster and to have more answers to the upcoming questions. And I tell you, upcoming questions, you have them every day and every week and every month. So it never stops.
We are here for any upcoming question, any day. And you, Elisabeth, I will ask you, be so kind and tell us how BayWa is seeing, what are the lacks that you can identify. I think that BayWa has been in very close relations with Rykower, which is from the renewable side, but where are technologies where you say, okay, this is a field we should definitely tap into?
Yeah, so I will answer this question mainly from the agriculture perspective. So in my opinion, the biggest challenge is that we are facing a reliable tracking of food production. So the full production transparency of the complete value chain from the field to the plate. The challenge here is not only to provide the technology and working system. More important is to make sure to provide a secure transfer of the data from the farm to the processing companies. So there we still have some lags. Because the farmers, especially in Germany, still have major concerns to give access to their farm data because they always have the fear to lose the control of the data circulation. And in the end, there's a concern that the conclusions that will be drawn from the data will have a negative impact on the farmer. So these are the major concerns we are facing every day. So therefore, it's our aim to measure, record, and provide a guarantee secure transfer of relevant production data to the processing companies. Here, a trustful cooperation with the farmer stays in the foreground. And to reach this aim, we work closely together with one of our affiliates. This is Farm Facts. It's the German market leader for farm management software and our BayWa group IT. So we combine our core segments to provide a novel solution in this way.
Thank you. Amazing. I think those are really valuable insights from all of you. Now, Alexander, you are, of course, not representing a company, you're representing hundreds of companies. When you look at those which are concerning the agricultural field, what would you say is their main pain? Where would you say they would need technologies? And is there a need for technologies which you can say is common to most of them?
Yeah, right. As I mentioned earlier, our companies are operating globally. And so the challenges are not the same in every part of the world. So they vary depending on the type of farming business in different parts of the world. So, for example, large-scale farms, which you can find in the US, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, CIS countries, but also in some parts of Western Europe. Those farms focus on combinable crops, and they really need to maintain or even increase efficiency by using, for example, high-performance machinery. It's also crucial for them to decrease the costs by using smart technologies. For example, field mapping, section control for crop care equipment, control traffic farming, farm management systems, and one which is, I think, quite new is a predictive maintenance. So that means that we all know, the farmer knows when he has to do the certain work on maintenance, on the service on the machinery. I think this has to be as predictable as is possible. Of course, we cannot predict everything what can happen. I think we are still on the field, we are still in life, and nobody expected the outbreak of the virus. So also nobody expecting that Trump will be re-elected, but it's not impossible. For small-scale farms, which are located in many parts of the world, so I'm also in charge of Southeastern Asia, and there are so many farms. I think even if we bring the best, the most powerful machine to those farms, I think this is not the right technology which they need on the farm. So we need to focus on adapted, and I would also say affordable technological solutions. So I have no illusion that the manual work in these countries can completely be replaced by machines, I think. So we rather expect that the technologies provide the appropriate support for the farming sector. I think traceability is also on my list, but I think it was mentioned before, so I will not touch base of this topic again. So this is from my side.
I mean, when you say predictive maintenance, and your example is Trump, my husband would ask for predictive maintenance for his wife. But you're right, we do not have solutions for everything. But good news is that all of the challenges, and they are quite a lot and very deep, we have, I believe, Israeli startup answers to them. And where we do not, I'm sure that among our listeners, they are right now, while we speak, thinking of establishing a startup which will find a solution. So let's now go to you, Martin Hannen. And now you are representing not only North Rhine-Westphalian opinion, but in a way also the German and also the European. So maybe you give us your perspective on where Israeli startups could maybe help tackle the problems we face in agriculture.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes administration and politics has a little bit of different view on what challenges are facing European and German farmers. You see that if you have a look at the Farm to Fork strategy that the European Commission presented in May, and that strategy pointed out the main challenges. It says the whole food chain, agriculture in Germany and Europe has become more sustainable, for instance, by reducing risks coming from pesticides, or reducing nutrient losses, reducing antibiotics. It says agriculture, the food chain has to become more climate friendly. We need to have more attention to animal welfare. These are very different challenges, and that all in the pattern of a rapid changing climate in Europe. You see, we've got the third year in a row with droughts, and so these are some examples for challenges. And I see there are many possibilities for Israeli high-tech or startups to help with these challenges. For instance, let's look at plant production. For instance, we need better tools for integrated pest management, like censoring of diseases, of pests, of weeds, or mechanical weeding with the help of GPS and cameras. We need new substances for the control of pests and diseases, like biologicals, biostimulants, perhaps totally new techniques in plant protections. What we saw during Corona is that we might get a lack of workers in the future, and we saw a big need for automatization in the fruit and vegetable sector for harvest, for planting. That might be a very big field for the future, especially food and vegetables is big in Israel. Perhaps you are already on this track. Looking at livestock, we need perhaps a better surveillance system for health and behavior of animals in our stables. With a look at the changing climate, Germany, especially Germany, we have a big need for irrigation, for more efficiency in water use, a point we never had in the recent years, but now it comes to a lack of water in some regions. So here Israeli techniques might be a big help for us. And the last, that's what already some others mentioned. If you ask farmers what is needed, they say, keep me off from bureaucracy, help me with my whole bureau, with documentation for everything we see, for traceability, for instance, that what you also mentioned. So a good farm management system are really in need for all farmers in Europe.
I will pick up on one of your sentences. You spoke about climate change, which is really now dramatically also felt in Europe and in Germany, of course. What would you say from Elisabeth, from how is global warming influencing food security and agriculture?
So on a global level, we are expecting more weather extremes. So we already recording increasing drought periods in Europe and also in some parts of Germany. So will this continue in future? We will see a shift of agriculture production areas. So we won't plant our apples in the Constance area. Maybe we will grow them some in the Black Forest area. I don't know. Therefore, it is necessary to start today to breed, for example, drought-adapted crops, because they need several years until they are ready for market. And in general, to develop new strategies to link or to think agriculture new. So, however, we are already having some technologies that can help, for example, the combination of satellite data and crop growth models. So with these technologies, we can provide information about which crops are suitable to grow in certain regions under certain conditions and how much production is possible under these conditions. For example, we are providing the information whether irrigation leads to more yield and if it makes sense in an ecological and economical perspective to put irrigation on this field. On a farm level, it is necessary to increase the yield on the field level. That doesn't mean to put more fertilizer on the field. That means to establish a site-specific production a site-specific production based on the potential on the farm, so based on the conditions we have on this farm. So this needs a bundle of measures, for example, the combination of digital platforms or sensors or drones or satellite data with crop consulting, because everything needs to be combined to provide a complete consulting for the farmer. And in the end, it is necessary to transfer all these outputs to the existing machineries, so to the tractors or the fertilizer spreaders and so on. This is also one of the challenges we are facing. And we as BayWa, we are already having a lot of these parts in our core segments. So we have the technical part, we have the innovation and digitalization part, and now it's our now we need to combine these things to a meaningful bundle for the farmer and to put all in a package and to face the upcoming challenges.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Elisabeth. I will get to the last question because time is getting to an end, and it actually turns to each of you. The Israeli startups commonly address us in the German chamber and tell us that they have quite difficulties entering the German market. It's due to hierarchies, the Vorzimmerkultur, they have difficulties passing the secretary, they don't know whom to turn and how to turn. But this is only an example. I would ask each of you in very short sentences, because of lack of time, what do you have in mind? How should an Israeli startup approach the German market in order to be successful? Let's start with Mr. Rolf, with Klaus.
From my side is to keep in touch with the companies like Class or 365 FarmNet and make a presentation of that solution that is ready for the market, and then we can discuss, is it ready for the European market, or is it ready for special markets in Europe? And that must be the way. To say totally we have an idea is not enough. Then we need a presentation about that, what is the focus, and the focus must be immer be from the side of the agriculture farmer side, then that is the most important. Then we are from Class or 365, we are not buying the solution, sondern a farmer must find the solution necessary, and then we can make the next steps. That is the important part. And that what I said in the earlier time, that is the looking for the heroes. Yes, we every time looking for the local heroes, and when we find heroes, they wanted to go into our market, we are like to make contacts to this. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. What would you say, Holger? How is BayWa Crop Science looking? How should we address you? Should we do it to you directly, or should we go through the Israeli representative?
Yeah, I mean, I can really understand what you said earlier. It's in a big or in even a giant company, it's not easy to find the right person, or not even for me all the time. Keep on trying. Maybe address first your local representative, yeah, so they can send you to the next address, and then I would say keep on trying. I would say Bayer is an open company. We have been communicating for quite a while, for, I don't know, a couple of years now, that we are looking for research capacities outside of our company. We do agreements almost, I would not say on a weekly basis, but on a monthly basis, I would say, that we collaborate with outside research companies and developers. So I think this is a good time to get in touch with Bayer, and yeah, try it.
Elisabeth, what would you say?
So I'm repeating a little bit that what Klaus said. So it is important to understand how the German companies are thinking. So the German companies are acting. So we are acting highly fact-orientated, and we highly appreciate concrete projects. So we are there in this way. We are highly differ from companies from the USA, for example. They are more focused on the vision. So, and we are more focused on the fact. So we really like it concrete and reliable data and numbers, and I think this is the most important advice I can give to the startup companies. And in the end, just be relaxed. So the AgTech scene in Israel is highly respected in Germany, and we have really great experience with startups from Israel. So you have a great reputation, so that helps a lot already.
Lovely. Maybe, you know, we're getting, now time is over, but I got questions from the audience to some of you, and if you don't mind and stay with us a few more minutes, I would like to ask them. So do you mind? Good. I thought so. One of the questions is, how far are you in Germany with the usage of autonomous vehicles in agriculture? Is that an issue already, or are we heading there? Anybody?
So maybe I can start. So we are also working with some robots. So we are looking what is existing on the market, and we have one of our farms. We established the Dino. It's from VDMA. It's a French company, and it's a robot for wheat destroying, and we established this year, so we see a great potential in this robot, and yeah, I'm really, so I hope there will come more in the future, and if it's if we have good experience in the field, I think we will try to bring it to the farmers in Germany.
Lovely. And the last question, before I let you all go back to your work, and maybe Martin, you can answer it, or somebody of the corporates. The question is, how about genetically modified farming plants? Is this a total no-go, or will be there a way around of using it because of the problems we're lacking in the food industry?
Oh, that's a difficult question. The discussion is just starting in Europe, as you know. The European Commission has to bring a report to the Parliament and to the European leaders till next April, I think, where it points out all the consequences of the regulations that we have in the moment and that was stated by the European Court. Not everybody is lucky with that. In fact, there are a lot of scientists that say that's no way for the future. Let's find another kind of regulation, not looking at the process, looking at the product of the genetically modified organism. But that debate really is open because there are very, very hard debates, very emotional debates, and it will be a challenge to bring this to a good political debate. I'm not sure how it will end.
Okay. Anybody else of our panelists? Anybody who wants to answer?
Yeah, hi, this is Holger. Yeah, I can just support what Martin has just said. We are in the middle of a very emotional debate in Europe, and what we have said that we don't agree with the decisions of the European Court. We see it differently, but we accept it, of course. We do still continue our research. Europe is not the only region in the world. There are other regions which are more open to genetically modified or edited crops, and it can change. It can change in Europe. It was different before. We still have GMO crops, corn, for example, in Spain and in other countries. Germany is probably more reluctant or more critical than other countries, but it's an open discussion, and we will see the outcome.
Thank you, Holger. There's also a question to you, Elisabeth, coming from our audience. If BayWa is also active in the field of land-based fish farming, I believe that's called onshore fish farming.
I don't think so yet, but it's a really interesting point, and maybe it will be a new business area in future. I don't know.
Okay, that's so you take some inspiration with you from us. I want to thank you all. You were a truly inspiring and very nice panel. Thank you to our key speakers before that. And if you don't mind, we will get back to you because I'm sure we will have a lot of questions also following this panel, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah. What a time management, Charme.
Thank you. Bye.